Awakening of Medivh, 21 years before the Dark Portal. While Medivh was in a coma, Azeroth enjoyed a time of relative peace. However, that did not mean the world was safe. Conflict was a daily occurrence. Tribes battled with tribes, villages squabbled with villages, and kingdoms spied on kingdoms. Yet, by and large, Azeroth's inhabitants were prosperous. In the Eastern Kingdoms, humans engaged in rigorous trades with dwarves, gnomes, and high elves. Some nations, like Lordaeron, acted as regional leaders and trendsetters. They mediated disagreements between smaller kingdoms and used their strong militaries to impose order over the land. Others, like Dalaran, made extraordinary advances in the study of the arcane arts and other academic fields. Still others focused their resources on defending themselves from their old rivals. The elves of Quel'Thalas spent much of their time fending off encroachments from the Amani trolls. In Kalimdor, the Night Elves continued their ancient traditions. Druids explored the Emerald Dream, a realm of wonder and power that guided the natural life and the physical world. For the most part, the Night Elves kept their attention focused outward, to the cosmos, ever vigilant for the Burning Legion. The Night Elves still remembered the War of the Ancients, that dark time in history when demons invaded the world and nearly destroyed it. Many Night Elves believed that the Legion would eventually come back. They expected the demons' return to be dramatic, apocalyptic, heralded with fire and brimstone from the skies. None suspected that the mortal race from another world, a dying world, would soon seek to conquer Azeroth. And none suspected that Medivh, a man born to protect Azeroth, would make it all possible. Almost 10 years after slipping into his coma, he finally awoke. In the days that followed, Medivh reunited with his old friends. Lane Rind was poised to become King of Stormwind. Anduin Lothar had risen in the ranks and was a highly regarded knight and military commander. They were both happy to see that Medivh had recovered from his strange illness, but they were preoccupied by new troubles brewing in the south. Over the years, Stormwind's farmers and settlers had been pushing south, claiming more and more territory near the jungles of Stranglethorn Vale. That had brought them into conflict with the Gurubashi tribes. Blood had been spilled, and the conflict had escalated from small skirmishes to frequent raids by the troll warbands. Lane's father, Barathon, the elderly king of Stormwind, dispatched his forces in a defensive manner, commanding his soldiers to intercept raiding parties, but forbidding retaliatory strikes into Gurubashi land. He had no interest in a full-scale war with the trolls. His son advocated for a sterner posture. Lane wanted to teach the trolls a lesson, even if it meant invading Gurubashi territory. The private debates between king and prince grew heated. For months, Medivh took no part in Stormwind's politics. Since waking up, he had struggled to deal with his guilt over his father's death, an event he still did not truly understand. Unsettling dreams were also plaguing him. Sometimes, he dreamt of a woman who urged him to travel to a place called Karazhan. Other times, he dreamt of a dark presence dwelling in his mind, twisting his thoughts. He decided to ignore these dreams. Medivh felt most at peace when he was with his friends, so he focused his attention on helping them. He joined their efforts in dealing with the Gurubashi. A secret mission, 19 years before the Dark Portal. King Barathon's strategy against the trolls was effective for a time, but it would not stop every attack. A troll raiding party slipped through Stormwind's patrol lines and cut a path of destruction through Westfall, the kingdom's breadbasket. 3 towns were burned to the ground. Stormwind soldiers eventually caught and slew all of the raiders, but it was too late for dozens of humans. Their deaths had been slow, barbaric, gruesome. The atrocity became the talk of the kingdom. King Barathan met with Stormwind's lords and other nobles to discuss a response. Barathan was still focused on de-escalation. He declared that the armies of Stormwind would be bolstered, but used only to strengthen the patrol routes. There would be no offensive against the Gurubashi. Lane challenged him publicly, demanding that the blood of Stormwind citizens be repaid in kind. Barathan was forced to rebuke his son in front of the royal court to end the protest. Lane was furious, not just for the humiliation, but for what he saw as his father's cowardice. Lothar and many others felt the same way. In particular, Stormwind soldiers were itching for revenge, but they would obey their king. It would be unthinkable for any loyal soldier to do otherwise. But Lothar suggested that, if anyone would escape the hangman's noose for insubordination, it would be Lane and Lothar. Their ties to the king were too strong, and if they managed to stop the trolls for good, they would be forgiven. Lane loved the idea. A small, secret mission into the heart of Gurubashi lands might go unnoticed by both trolls and humans, but he also knew that mere steel would not be enough to carve out the heart of the Gurubashi's aggression. That would require something more. Medivh. The majority of Stormwind's populace considered Medivh to be simply a powerful mage, but he had told Lane and Lothar the truth. He had revealed to them the secret history of the Guardian, the Council of Tirisfal, and his destiny. Lane and Lothar used this knowledge to pressure Medivh. Since he was the Guardian, wasn't he meant to protect the land from evil? Medivh was reluctant at first. He still hadn't found the limits of his power, and his hazy memories of what had happened to his father haunted him. After much consideration, he agreed to assist Lane and Lothar. It was not simply a matter of making his friends happy. Medivh had another motivation. He had never seen battle before. He had never slain an enemy. He wanted to see what the Guardian magic could truly do. In truth, he hungered for it. The three friends set off in secret, forging beyond Stormwind's borders. They infiltrated Stranglethorn Vale without incident, shrouded by Medivh's magic. The humans targeted a Gurubashi warlord named Joknan, who dwelled in a ziggurat in central Stranglethorn. Their plan was to kill him quickly and retreat, leaving the trolls without a leader. The plan was anything but flawless. Joknan and his followers had been experimenting with forbidding blood magic, derived from one of their gods, a mighty and ancient creature known as Hakar the Soul Flayer. When battle erupted, it attracted a tremendous amount of attention. The three humans soon found themselves in a brutal fight for their lives. Medivh dueled Joknan himself, facing a breed of magic he had never seen. Joknan's dark power nearly overwhelmed Medivh. The Guardian was forced to abandon his apprehensions and unleash his full might. The resulting spell destroyed every single troll inside the ziggurat. Their howls of agony were heard in the darkest corners of Stranglethorn. Lane and Lothar had both seen death before. Even so, they were rattled by Medivh's power. The three men hurried back to Stormwind, but there was no joy in their victory. Lane and Lothar had seen Medivh's dark side, and they realized that their old friend was different in ways they could never understand. Even Medivh himself did not fully understand what he had done. He had never been taught that spell. He had no idea where that knowledge had come from, or if it had been entirely powered by arcane magic. It disturbed him greatly.